Welcome in, everybody. For anybody tuning in, make sure you hit that like button, as it will greatly help push me through the analytics. It will also help me get more people into here. I'm just pulling up my phone. I'll put it also on the side. I see we have 24 people in here already, 5 likes. So please, 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 I encourage you, hit that like button so more people can find their way in here, because we got a lot to talk about here in this update or this live. Mark, welcome in. Peter, welcome in. Gorgeous George, welcome in. Why was this message held for review? Mark Harris, smash the motherfucking like button. Yes, indeed. Peter Dubai, welcome. I appreciate that, Gorgeous George. So, I need to get into the intro, and then we'll get into what's going on today. Good mid-afternoon, 2:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So right now, a few different things to talk about. XRP has not invalidated the inverted head and shoulders. It sits just under 52 cents around the 515 level. But at the same time, we've lost a very critical support at the 522 level. Even though cryptos come under pressure, I want to read this real quick because I find this fascinating. It's about 6 minutes, but I'm not going to play the whole thing. There's a few things that have happened today, so let's just go over it real quickly. I'm not reading any of this. For the most part, you can go to my earlier updates and you can get all of this read to you from me. So basically, the U.S. judge gives the SEC, so the U.S. court tells the SEC to respond to Coinbase's rulemaking petition within a week. And this is the petition right here. So I don't want to read through all of this, but it basically says whether the SEC has now decided. So basically, we're Chair's statement to both Congress and the public that current regulations are sufficient for digital assets and the enforcement actions the SEC has recently filed against Coinbase and others without having ruled on Coinbase's petition. The SEC is hereby ordered to submit a letter within 7 days of the order addressing the following issues. So whether the SEC has now decided to deny Coinbase's petition for rulemaking is the first thing. The second thing they have to respond to, if not, how much additional time the SEC requires to decide whether to grant or deny the petition. And 3, why this court should not retain jurisdiction and order periodic reports as Coinbase has proposed, and or establish a deadline by which the court will rule on Coinbase's petition for writ of mandamus if the SEC has not yet granted or denied the petition for rulemaking. Coinbase may but is not required to file a response within 5 days of the SEC's filings. Each submission shall not exceed 10 pages double-spaced. So this is by the court, signed by Circuit Court Cheryl Ann Krause. So that's an official document, so there's no reason to question that. The judge has given, the courts have given the SEC 7 days to reply. So we'll see what happens. The Ripple CEO, this is also something we covered this morning. The Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse came out and he said he believes there's a deeper reason behind the SEC's most recent actions. The U.S. and Securities Exchange Commission, filed suit against Binance and Coinbase for the sales of unregistered securities and for, they call them unsavory, basically, practices. So they're not really, with Coinbase, it's interesting because they say they're not actually a properly regulated or registered crypto exchange / broker. So that's pretty interesting. So we already know Matic, ADA, Solana. There was also BNB, BUSD, Filecoin, and a few others that were part of this lawsuit. The interesting thing, though, and this is what I haven't heard mentioned very often, XRP is not part of this suit. It's not part of the suit. And I understand, though, that it's not part of these exchanges now because they've delisted them, so that's a reason why, I would imagine. So, and then you can go over the earlier update, but all I'll share with you is what Brad Garlinghouse said, and then we got bigger and better things to get onto. If it wasn't already clear, it should be now. Chair Gensler's laughable pro and innovation stance, as he said today, is exactly the opposite. What this also tells me is the SEC is throwing lawsuits in the wall and hoping they distract from agency's FTX debacle. And then he said it's embarrassing to watch an unelected bureaucrat flail like this to mask the fact that he and his agency don't have the power that he so desperately craves. So, but the cool thing is that the SEC lawsuit against Binance and Coinbase actually is unifying the crypto market. And there's a lot to be said about this. I'm not going to play this yet, but you won't even need to hear me talk for most of this. But I want to get into XRP, and then we'll play that real quick, because I think that's pretty interesting. As we can see, XRP is down 2.66% on the day. Wow, 36 people in here. Welcome in, everybody. Make sure to hit that like button as we got 28 likes, 36 viewers. I really appreciate that. Joseph, welcome in. Mark Harris, welcome. Jose, watch, cycle, or watch, recycle, repeat. Watch the content, recycle. The friends and family might not have seen the content before. And repeat. Come back and watch the next update. I love it. OptiX was a global embarrassment. It sure was, Gorgeous George. Peter, it was a con. I cannot disagree. So, XRP 5162. What are we talking about here? XRP is still working on an inverted head and shoulders pattern. It very well could hold and push up to the 585 level. But what we need is by last stand hold, I mean, it cannot lose the 482 at all. It's got to hold the 482. Otherwise, you come down to that 46 and 44. But right now, to me, it would be in our best interest if you're looking for a further continuation here to hold that 50-cent level. I really wanted to see it hold 52.22 and then get over the 537 mark, but we failed that so far. The first signal we'll have that this pattern is going to continue moving up is we will hold that 537 mark. Finish off this inverted head and shoulders properly, and you would come to the 585 level, and then it would be up to us to break out and hold the 585 level to confirm a breakout in a successful inverted head and shoulders and cup and handle, or you'd have a bearish handle up there and then it would be the end of the pattern. So we've come up just short of that right now. So that's why it's very interesting with the news that's been coming out. You know, to me, it doesn't surprise me. We talked about it when Bitcoin had to come back up, and we were either going to get rejected up exactly at the levels we came to, at that 26,962 approximately, or we're going to continue something more, because this is what we drew out before that drop, the initial drop. We drew this inverted head and shoulders out, and then this right arm, as it looks out, this bull flag possibly came out, and it held the 20-day, and as we can see right now in the weekly, when was the last time this happened, folks? Whoops. When was the last time this happened? And I haven't talked about it in my updates, and I'll get into it more tonight in my update in tonight's episode, but you guys are going to see it first. When was the last time that happened? And yes, we crossed back over the 200-day, but we also recrossed over the 100 right there. I mean, the 50. So, but when was the last time we had those kind of bullish crosses on the weekly in Bitcoin? Just out of curiosity. Well, if we go back and look, it's been a while. The last time we crossed, because we had a bearish cross here all the way back in June of 2022. The last time we had a bullish cross through momentum like this, I mean, that's the problem. Look how far back we would have to go. We have not had a bullish cross in the weekly on Bitcoin since it had a cross here. I mean, it had a back out and then it broke back up. But I mean, we've never come back through since we had a fake out to the downside. Bitcoin has been bearish since it fell back through, and I can't even think of a time that it came back up. Obviously, we're above it there. We follow here. This is where we broke through it in June of 2022. We have not had a bullish cross since we had that bearish, the death cross, if you understand the terminology. The 20-day cross in the 200, which is the red cross in that dark blue line, that's considered a golden cross in the, or a death cross in the weekly. We have not invalidated that death cross, and we had a massive breakdown after that of over 50%, or about 50%. We have not had a bullish cross since June of 2022. We have finally had that in the weekly. We finally had a weekly cross, a bullish cross here for the first time since June of 2022. That's a year. We have not had this cross in a year. And we've had a reversal made, a W reversal, and it looks like it's completing off an inverted right arm, or an extended inverted right arm to push us up to the final level, which if that plays out would put you up to about 38K. So I want to know in the comments, what does everybody think about that? Hey, Sean, my main man from Maine, welcome in. I really appreciate that. Mark, indeed, hit that like button. Hit that like button. It really does help. We've got 39 people watching. It's free, guys. Just hit that like button. And gals. So that's what I'm looking at there. And then this only goes as far as the comments. So if you have an opinion, I would greatly appreciate that. I really would. Bitcoin's down 766 points, down 2.81%, down to that 26,467. And the main problem is going to continue. we have not been able to get back over this channel. But as I've talked about, that weekly cross right there, that bullish cross has not happened since June of 2022. So focus in. This has not happened since June of 2022, since we had the death cross in last June. So that's something to be watched for sure. And then I am gonna light my relaxation because it's been a busy day. I've done a couple updates already. I had to go to my son's therapy appointment, as some of you know, and then I actually worked out at the gym after. So it's been a very busy day, and I see we're not really getting much of a response here as far as the question I asked. So I'm going to play this, and then we're going to try to get back to it. And then if not much of an active discussion, I'll know I've covered everything I need to cover. I still have to cover the DXY and show everybody where the total crypto market cap sits today, and we'll touch very briefly on how commodities are doing. So sit back and listen.
SEC lawsuit against Binance and Coinbase unifies the crypto industry. Professionals from various parts of the crypto sector have responded to the United States Securities and Exchange Commission's (SEC) recent actions against some of the biggest crypto exchanges, Binance and Coinbase. On June 5th, the SEC filed a lawsuit against Binance for allegedly offering unregistered securities. Only a day after filing the Binance suit, the commission also went after Coinbase on somewhat similar grounds, alleging that popular cryptocurrencies offered by the exchange, like Solana, SOL, Polygon, Matic, and the Sandbox, SAND, qualify as securities. Today we charged Binance Holdings Limited, Binance, US-based affiliate, BAM Trading Services Incorporated, which, together with Binance, operates https://d.co/cxs, and their founder, Changpeng Zhao, with a variety of securities law violations. https://d.co/h1wggr5irpic.twitter.com/udb7ed86h. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, at SIGGOV, June 5, 2023. Cointelegraph reached out to various players working within the space to see their responses to the recent actions made by the SEC. From sharing their belief that it will drive crypto companies away from the US to simply calling the SEC's actions lazy, industry players shared their thoughts on the latest topic hounding the space.
Okay. So far, do we understand? Is everybody listening? What do you think will happen on the 13th? Things have been changing. I mean, I don't put a lot of stock into what Brad Garlinghouse said. I mean, we'll see. The 13th, that's when there's supposed to be this meeting. But, like, that's where we'll always have the separation. If Brad Garlinghouse wasn't such a fudster, we might be able to believe that the settlement is within weeks and not months when he stated that. I would like to believe he's not fudding us, but I still stand by, unless we see something, I hope we settle on Monday. I do. But if we don't see a settlement Monday, it's going to be the end of Q3 or end of September, or possibly a jury trial. And that's, a trial, by peers. And that's going to take a long time. That's going to be a long time. So let's finish going through this, because this is actually very important.
An unacceptable approach to regulation. According to Kristen Smith, the CEO of the Blockchain Association, while the SEC's actions are expected, it's still unacceptable. Smith explained that the SEC doesn't make the law. Indeed, this approach to regulation is unacceptable, but it is what we have come to expect from the SEC and its anti-crypto stance. In addition, the executive highlighted that while the industry and the U.S. Congress are working to develop effective regulation, the SEC continues to distract from substantive policy efforts. The executive believes that by listing assets in this way, the SEC is trying to circumvent formal rulemaking processes and denying public engagement. Meanwhile, Paolo Ardino, the chief technology officer of stablecoin issuer Tether, believes that companies' complaints against the SEC should be listened to. According to Ardino, the uncertainty of rules and guidance in the U.S. is becoming a common theme, even among the biggest supporters of crypto in the country. Turbo's finance CEO Ted Hsiao also echoed Smith's sentiment. According to Hsiao, this is not the direction Web3 developers want to see. The executive believes that the SEC showed that it's against the whole Web3 space, as they are also coming after top projects and not just centralized exchanges, sexes, driving crypto players abroad and weakening consumer confidence. In addition to the SEC's actions being unacceptable, other professionals working in the space believe that the effects of this recent move include pushing crypto players to more crypto-friendly jurisdictions and weakening consumer confidence in crypto within the U.S. Insider intelligence crypto analyst Will Page said that the recent suits highlight that the SEC intends to police the space through enforcement in the absence of a regulatory framework. According to Page, this could potentially knock down the already weak consumer confidence in cryptocurrencies in the country. Crypto ownership data from 2020 to 2023 and projection for 2024. Source: Insider Intelligence. Ben Caselin, the chief strategy officer at crypto exchange MaskX, believes that while this is a case against Binance, it may have implications for other players in the US. The former ex-executive explained that this can open up more opportunities for other jurisdictions such as Hong Kong, Dubai or even El Salvador to drive innovation and attract capital and talent. Oscar Franklin Dan, the chief legal officer of Non-Fungible Token, NFT, Protocol Engine, agrees with the sentiment. According to Dan, the world will not wait for the US to make up its mind on crypto. Dan explained, the SEC actions only drive talent and innovation out of the US, to countries with clearer rules that support responsible builders. Singapore in 2020 stated it does not follow the US Howey test. Japan has a clear self-regulatory framework for exchanges. The executive believes that progressive countries will reap the benefits, especially now that explosions in artificial intelligence and extended reality are highlighting the need for blockchain and genuine digital.
Everybody, please, if you're watching, obviously make sure to hit that like 54 people. Wow. Make sure to hit that like button. This is the most important part of this. So please, please, please pay attention to this right now.
Related, U.S. Financial Services Committee sets date to discuss future of crypto. Doubts cast on SEC's fairness and motivations. While others express their beliefs on the potential effect of the SEC's lawsuit against Binance and Coinbase, other crypto professionals explore the motivation and fairness of the SEC's move. According to David Schwed, the chief operating officer of blockchain security firm Halborn, the mandate of the SEC is to ensure the safeguarding of investors. Schwed believes that this can be done through clear regulations and not through enforcement actions. The executive added that SEC Chair Gary Gensler's motivations may be skewed. It seems to me that his personal ambitions and the need to validate his stance have now superseded his core mandate, he explained. Alex Jasniewski, the founder of the decentralized finance, DeFi, protocol Angel Block, described the SEC's actions as lazy. The executive believes that it does not drive proper regulation forward. He explained, "It's like a school teacher berating you for giving the wrong answers but failing to give any explanation beyond that. I also don't believe that the SEC does, in fact, have jurisdiction over everything they're claiming to." Meanwhile, Tim Shawn, the chief operating officer at Decentralized Exchange, DEX, Dixalot expressed mixed feelings about the lawsuits and said that the SEC's actions are unfair to the community. They've provided very little clarity or guidance to the crypto community. They are regulating through the courts, which is really quite unfair and not the right way to regulate/govern, he said. Magazine, Crypto Regulation, does SEC Chair Gary Gensler have the final say?
Okay, so I just wanted to go over that because I think that's pretty interesting. So does anybody have any takes on that? Any takes on the fairness of the ethics of anything within that 6 minutes that we went through? Figured it was a good way to give everybody a chance to not have to listen to me the whole entire time. We're 20 minutes in, wow, 50 likes, 51 people. So we've went through a lot of stuff. Thanks, Gorge George. I appreciate that. We've went through a lot of stuff, and yes, JW, picking up what you're putting down. That's an excellent analogy. Guys and gals, remember, we are still in an accumulation phase, folks. Just because XRP's push up to 51 cents, that doesn't mean there's not other opportunities as it continues to push back down that we can continue to start buying. XRP, my whole philosophy right now is I can't buy until it's 20% under 35 cents. That's just because of where I have my average of 35 cents, and I have a rule I can't buy it until it comes 20% lower than where I last bought, and that's where my average is. So, and I have an appropriate amount of tokens. Sean, Tom, your opinion, please. Well, your opinion will matter only after the judge makes a ruling. Question is, can the Congress take a bite out of the SEC? They could. What our biggest hope right now is by them having this crazy crackdown on Coinbase and Binance is that the politicians, some of these, the ones who, Congress will get involved and start putting some of these because they're going to fear that they're going to lose a little bit of the motivation for people to vote for them if they just allow this to go. So they're going to look for people to replace them that might be more crypto friendly. So they might start passing things just to try to get ahead of this. I mean, you got to remember, we got an election coming next year in the US. You know, so we have a whole big thing coming on next year. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. And like it's always been my opinion, the moment you see the SEC and the federal government start to go after every single crypto exchange in America, the reason why you haven't seen Uphold, you haven't seen BitGet, you haven't seen MEXC, you haven't seen some of these other ones, they're not in the USA, ran, Singapore, Australia, you know, they're in some of the more friendly places that you can have crypto. So they don't have jurisdiction there. And the one good thing about Uphold, everybody always asks me, Uphold's already got official papers with the USA, they pay the fee, and they already have it worked out with the US to where they will do the taxes and we get sent what we owe. It tells us everything. It's not like most crypto exchanges. Everything is set up through Web3 as well. So that's why I trust it. Yes, you have to pay more fees, but that's why I give the options of BitGet and or MEXC, and then you can send over your XRP so you're not paying the spot fees. We have to try in this time to figure out these little nooks and crannies so we're getting roped right now. The bottom line is Coinbase and Binance, when these lawsuits came out, it showed how many of millions of dollars into the high hundreds of millions of dollars that they made on just the fee for us to buy our crypto. So just the fee, the service fee, or the overcharge that they did, it was millions and millions of dollars, and that's the most frustrating part, especially when they're not offering you protections. And Coinbase, they didn't properly register as a crypto broker, which means a lot of people lost protection there. So let's say it goes under, you might not be able to be protected by, you know, some kind of like with the banks, they've got the FDIC that'll bail you out. On some exchanges, they've got some writing that some of your money safely, whatever. If they're not properly doing the paperwork, I mean, what's to say that they're not just going to get up and leave? You know, I've always had a problem with the way Binance and Coinbase have done things. I started here in 2021 on YouTube. It's always rubbed me the wrong way. I've never hidden the fact, and I've always told people from day one, get off of Binance, get off of Coinbase while you still can. And I was just surprised Voyager went down and down, a lot of people paid attention to. And the whole FTX debacle, everybody still is all good and whatever. When you start seeing places delist XRP and some of these other cryptos, it means that they're within the reach of regulatory of the SEC. It really does. But Sean, like, to answer your question, yeah, if Congress gets involved, they can start stripping some of the power. But as it is now, everybody's in the back pocket of the same people. That's the problem. So, you know, that's the problem. Summer, welcome in. The good old days when Coinbase, yep, exactly. And unfortunately, things are not how they used to be. And we've got to acknowledge it. But that's why I go live and I do so many updates a day now. Because I want everybody, yep, the good old days where there were no fees. Yeah, it's the fees that are killing us. But there are ways around on some of these platforms. Now, the one issue is like on BitGet and MEXC, I'm not funding that account by loading it up with a bank card or something like that. You got to take some crypto and send it over. That's how you do it. Or you send over some of your loose capital, whether you do it through sending out USDT or sending whatever you got to do to send it over. You send it over, and then in theory you can save yourself money. Now, you've got to regulate it in the proper way, otherwise it's not going to do you any good. Uphold charges fees, so if you buy it just to send it over, what the hell is the point? But if you can find a way to send it over in another way, from another exchange or whatever your case may be, there's ways. So, any questions? We've got a lot of 50 plus people in here. That's a lot of people. We can have an active discussion here. Like, I'll go back into the charts, but is there anything anybody needs to see? I'm going to go into XLM as well. Take care, Gorgeous George. I appreciate you tuning in. I really do. Hope you have a good rest of your day. But XLM even, the question is, will everybody admit that they've been ripped off up to the mouth and move forward in a new climate? I don't trust any of these projects, including one Sean, now you've come to the real, that's a real That's a soul searching question. This is where you really got to look deep. This is where remember what I said a long time ago? A lot of the people that are watching in 2021, 2022, 2023 won't be around in 2025, 2026 through 2028 when it matters. Because we're going to be pushed off and we're going to think things. Is it possible? Yes. And I think 95 to 99% will be gone. But the ones that I talk about are the ones I firmly believe are going to be here. I firmly believe it. Firmly believe it. I think the ISOs are here for a reason. I just think the way that it's labeled is wrong. I think a lot of people lose their shit just because it's an ISO, but they don't understand what it actually means. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, I own things that I think in the future are going to be there. I own XRP, XLM, DGB, ZIL, VeChain. But now remember, I bought these. Some of these are already 1x from where I bought them on this bear market. And now it's my job to buy them when they go lower, farther, down. But that's the thing. A lot of people say that this is all scams or everybody's losing their money. If you're watching in this community, we're not losing money. You can fight the manipulation and the corruption, but you've got to have strong values and you've got to have a strong mind. When I sold at $1.66 and everything accordingly in crypto, I knew it was going to be a long run, a long bear market. But that was the time. If I would have just went with the standard, oh, it doesn't matter where you buy it. Oh, long hold forever and you can't lose. All that nonsense, that's when you really lose. That's when you get bent over and you're done. Right now, you're down better than 80 to 95% depending on the token. That's nowhere to be. I'd rather be all in like I used to be with 85% of my portfolio in hand. Or go into, my profits are going into precious metals, yada, yada, yada. And Craig, if you're watching, well, you commented on Telegram, so I'm assuming not. But yeah, today's the 14th day of my fast, well, the intermittent fasting. I do 16 hours a day. I don't eat. I only eat 8 hours a day, 1 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah, 90%. Yeah, we will lose at least 90%. But the other thing, ladies and gentlemen, I don't talk about leverage trading on here a lot, is that's gambling. This is all gambling, but when you leverage trade, that's a surefire way to lose your tokens. Nobody wins 100% of the time, and just like when you sports bet, over a long period of time, nobody ever actually makes out. You know why that is? If you're leverage trading and you bet $100 and you turn it into $1,000, every single time you trade now, it's not going to matter. You're going to say, well, I turned that 100 into 1,000. Even if you turn 100 into 200, you're going to continue pushing it out. Or now you're going to try to take 1,000, turn it into 10,000. Eventually, it all comes back to zero. Jose, sub 20 cents. I've said before and I'll say it again. I believe it can happen. I believe it's more than likely that it will happen than not. But I've always said if we get sub 20 cents, it's a miracle. Plan accordingly before sub 20 cents. Sub 20, well, not a miracle, but I've said to get down to 12 cents, it's about a 17 to 27% chance depending on environment. I believe it's a better than 50-50 chance that we should hit sub 20 cents. But that doesn't mean it has to happen. That doesn't mean we don't have a settlement. That doesn't mean the environment changes. That's why it's only a 50-50 shot. That's why I planned accordingly. If I knew it was a guarantee we were getting down there, would I have bought anything back? But I had to understand that it's better to have my bags packed with only spending 15% of my capital that I was going to spend if I spent in the 2021 bull market when I sold out, or bull run, to still have a lot on the sides, but to have everything I need already started, a portfolio started. Just because I have 10,000 tokens of XRP Plus, if I would have bought that in 2021, to have 10,000 tokens, I would have had to have spent 80% more. So if you think about it, I would have to spend 4 times as much as I spent in 2021 than I did in 2023. So that is how you save money. If you've already made the money and you get out and then you get back in times. Now here's the thing. XLM, because I'm running long here. I apologize, we're running long. It's been a half hour. Yeah, sub 40 cents was the ideal time to do it. I still think in my heart of hearts, unless we can get over 58 cents and ultimately use 85 cents as a support, this is nothing more than a bear market rally. It really isn't. And XLM, we've talked about this move up, and right now it's basically feeding on this line we talked about. Yes, we had an overextension, but that's just what it was. And now it could be building off some weird flag here. It could be trying to put in a reversal. But until we can fluently lose the 8.7 level and then ultimately the 8.5 and actually lose it more than a wick, which I'm not exactly sure that it could even come down as far because we pulled it up. But if it pulls down again and we invalidate this, what looked like a structure forming here, we have no choice but to come down to 8 cents and then further. Like, we have nothing. So it's in our best interest for XLM even. We're still in a spot where it looks very bearish, but the inversions haven't been invalidated yet, especially with XRP. So I do appreciate everybody tuning in. One Rifficon, welcome in. One rough recon. Yo. I'm 25K in XRP, 25K XLM. I'm nuts. Well, I mean, it's what you believe in. I'm definitely nowhere near that much in, but I am in same amount of tokens for XRP, XLM, XDC. So, but everybody, appreciate you. Love you. I love all of you a lot. That's the bottom line. That's why I come on here and do this as much as I want, or as much as I can. In time, we will have more people in Tom's Army, and I'll continue pushing that message because I put this content out for free. And that's particularly, and it's by the blessing of the people who are in Tom's Army. You guys allow me to do what I do. I have a mission, I have a belief that everything needs to be put out for free because I don't care the size of your wallet. I believe everybody's entitled to the information if they want it. So everybody who's in Tom's Army or thinking about joining Tom's Army, you are the biggest blessing to me because I can put this information out the way I see fit. And the ones who can't, they also get the information. And in time, I believe if I help you, you help the community back, you join Tom's Army, you show me that my time's worth what it is, and I can continue to put this out the way I do. No BS, no FUD, no promoting, and yada, yada, yada. Make sure you guys hit that like button, and I'll catch you on the other side. I really appreciate everybody. JW, no Nick, no name, Jose, come on in. Everybody who's here, I really appreciate it. I honestly, I disagree with the whole crypto hawk thing. He put it behind the paywall, so he lost my respect. Anybody who puts all their information behind the paywall can eat my balls. No offense. He used to be fine, yada, 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 but he literally, that would be like me taking all of it, all of this, guys. If I took all of this and all of a sudden took it away from you and I put out one update for 2 minutes in the morning and said everything else and then I put a bunch of gaslighting into it, that's no way to do it. That's no way to do it. That's no way to do it, putting it behind a paywall. If you believe in what you're doing and if you're successful at what you're doing, you should never have to charge anybody to do it like this. I don't believe in that, so no. I don't advise people to do that. Yeah, you might find good information, but when you put it behind a paywall, there's ulterior motives. So, I think that's where I separate myself. I could easily charge and put this behind a paywall. I've been told a million times to do it, but I never will. So I appreciate everybody. Stay blessed, and that's just my feelings. No offense. If you like Crypto Hawk, he does put out good information. But once you lure a bunch of people in and then you slit their throats by taking all the information away unless they're forced to pay for information that's already out there. He's not breaking anything to you. All the information's out there. Just look. Period. He never has anything that is not already out there. Nobody's ever sent me anything that I didn't already know from Crypto Hawk that was free to find. If you just use your mental capacity, you shouldn't have to pay anybody for it. All that information's available. He's no more of a crusader than I am, and he has no more of a reach than I have. He might be able to pull the wool over your eyes, or he might be able to sling it in a way that where you're going to pay your hard-earned money, but I promise you, you can learn it on your own. Stay blessed, everybody.